Hello everyone, back to you in today's third video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's third video, day 10, will take us to the 5th of October. I've had an absolute nightmare trying to get this video done for you. We've had 2 power cuts, we've had telephone interruptions. So I'm not going to talk about anything else actually, I'm just going to get on with it and bring you the video if I can. So hopefully we won't have any more power cuts and everything will run smoothly. Just say we're going to be live streaming from 10 o'clock tonight. We'll have our first curfew live stream from 10 o'clock tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun. Right, I won't say about anything else because I just want to get this done as quickly as possible. So, latest observations from XC Weather showing that it's a very cool afternoon out there. We have clawed our way up to 16 degrees on the south coast. Bournemouth, highest temperature 16 degrees. However, most places are pegged back below that. Benton is at 14. Church Lawford at just 13. Shawbury at just 13. These are the latest observation from XC Weather, by the way. Real at 13. Senny Bridge at just 11. Northwick at 12. It gets even worse on the east coast. Lakenheath at just 11 degrees. Norwich is at just 11. Weybourne is at 11. It's pouring with rain there. The gale force northerly wind. It's very, very grim on the east coast. Humberside at 12. Heading up to Newcastle, only 12 degrees there. Moving up to Scotland, Aviemore is at 8. And Drumalbin is at 11. Belfast at 12 degrees. It's very cool. These temperatures are kind of like the afternoon temperatures that you would expect sort of mid-October, really. So below average with the temperature. Add on the northerly wind, it feels even cooler. And it's pretty grim out there, especially where it's pouring with rain and winds are up to gale force on the east coast. Autumn has descended. We've been flagging this up over the past week or two, but autumn we're going to descend this week, and indeed it has. More autumn to come. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Looking at Glasgow today, the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Glasgow, starting off cooler than average at the moment. Temperatures will lift up by the early part of next week before they drop again through the middle part of next week, and they're just quite close to average really through the first week of October. But more dramatic is the precipitation spike. So the next few days are going to be relatively dry up to the 1st of October, or the 31st of September, really. But after that, we're unleashing the Atlantic. Look at that. Absolute deluge coming up for Glasgow. Now, this is going to be exposed to the Irish Sea and to the Atlantic a little bit, but I think this is representative of a lot of the model output today that is suggesting the chance of really heavy bouts of rain coming up through the first week of October. And yeah, it looks like we're in for a bit of a deluge there for the first week of October. Temperature anomalies from the 25th of September to the 3rd of October are going to be below average, a cooler than average week coming up. Precipitation anomalies from the 25th of September to the 3rd of October, close to average, wetter than average in the southwest. Expect those to trend wetter in the next few days. This is the latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net showing we've got low pressure in the southern North Sea. We've got a depression in the North Sea, and we're bringing in a northerly wind. Now, this is a long fetch northerly, so the origins of the air with this are originating right away from the Arctic. This is true Arctic origin air, northerly stuff plunging southwards across West Europe. You can see how far south that northerly is stretching. So it originates from up here off the very top of the chart and goes all the way down to Spain and North Africa, really. So that is a very, very long fetch northerly. And if we was in if it was in January, then it would be bitter cold air that would be drawing down today with that true Arctic northerly wind. That's kind of like sort of northerlies we tapped into in the December to remember quite regularly. And with the depression in the southern North Sea, of course, that's what's bringing the rain and the gale force winds down the east coast. It's pretty grim on the east coast today, to say the least. Now, by the time we get through to the early part of next week, we're changing the air mass slightly. We're cutting off that northerly and tilting the wind to the west or to the southwest. So things will go a little bit drier through the early part of next week, and a little bit milder or a little bit warmer as well. Seeing the temperature returning back close to average after quite a cold weekend under this very, very slight transient bump. But not for long, not for long. Through the course next week turns increasingly unsettled. That's how we look as we get to 144 hours, as far as we go with the UK Met, to the first day of October. And we're looking wet and windy there with a deep area of low pressure in off the Atlantic. GFS 6 there, very similar. So again, a little bit of a transient bump through Monday and Tuesday, but not for long, turning wet and windy through the middle and second half next week. Deep low pressure, bringing regular bouts of rain. And that will potentially a little bit stormy there. This is the 4th of October, potentially stormy there with a deep low across northern France. That might bring some torrential rain and gales into southern areas around the 4th, 5th of October. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. We move beyond that, and again, we're looking very, very unsettled into more extended range through the first week of October. Yes, again, low pressure brings further bouts of very wet and windy weather right way up to 384 hours out, which is Sunday, the 11th of October. GM looks like that. Again, a little transient bump there for Monday, but it's not going to last. Through the course of next week, it turns increasingly unsettled as low pressure comes in off the Atlantic. Very, very unsettled. Also, the GM looking quite stormy around days 9 to 10. This is day 9, certainly the 4th of October. A deep area of low pressure is just to our southwest. But as we go through to day 10, look where that low pressure is then. It's in the North Sea. Looking quite intense, actually. So that low has gone in this sort of direction. It's done something like that and has possibly brought torrential rain and severe gale force winds, or certainly gale force winds, to parts of England and Wales in particular. So again, just suggestion, around the 4th, 5th of October, something stormy might be going on then. And then we've got the ECM again on Monday under a very slight transient bump there of high pressure, so a little bit drier for the early part of next week, but not for long. Through the course of next week, in comes low pressure off the Atlantic, regular bouts of wet and windy weather. By the time you get through to day 10, Monday the 5th of October, we're actually looking quite stormy. By day 10 with the ECM as well. This is the rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Tameteo.com. You can see the way the rain is hugging the east coast today with this low pressure in the southern North Sea. So winds up to gale force, it's pouring with rain, and it's pretty grim on the east coast. That rain keeps going in the southeast through the course of tomorrow. Not quite as heavy as today, but showery rain coming and going throughout the weekend, really, on the east coast of East Anglia, southeast England. Anyway, elsewhere, relatively dry but quite cold weekend. Early next week, we get rid of that rain from the east coast. We change the air mass. Temperature will return back close to average and relatively dry through like the first half of next week. But by the middle of next week, we're into wet and windy weather sweeping in from off the Atlantic, and we keep further bouts of rain going then right the way up to day 10. So, yeah, regularly sort of wet and windy all the way up to day 10 with the ECM from the middle of next week onwards. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 5th of October. We have 12 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure over top of the country. 11, again, low pressure over top of the country. 10, low pressure over to the south of the country and blocking highs up to our north. 9, low pressure through the country. 5, low pressure again over to the west of the country. And just a very insignificant minority of 4 with a ridge building up from the southwest. That is going to be drier and warmer. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 10th of October, 10th of the 10th, 28 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure over to the south of the country, blocking high pressure to the north. Winds are going to be in from the east, very unsettled with that. Cool and wet. 23, so it is a minority, but quite a significant minority by this point, building up some higher pressure, sending the jet stream northwards slightly. So that'll be a little bit drier and warmer for the second week of October. However, the majority of those ECM ensemble members are keeping things pretty unsettled up to 2 weeks out. Finally, the CFSV2 for October 2020, with 700 millibar high anomaly with deep low pressure centered over the top of the country. That is going to be very unsettled for October if it comes off. Also quite cool as well, because we have got a mid-Atlantic ridge that's sending a jet stream on a northwest-southeast alignment. The temperature anomaly for October 2020 is coming out close to average. CFSV2 and the rainfall anomalies suggests that it could actually be going wetter than average. It could be going a bit wetter than average. Not a surprise, of course, with a deep trough of low pressure centred right over top of the country. Right, I've got that done in 10 minutes. So that's it. That's it for your videos for today. However, it is not the end of the content, because after 10 o'clock, we are going to be live streaming. We're going to have our Friday night curfew, not lockdown, our Friday night curfew live stream around 10 past 10, starting around 10 past 10 tonight. So we'll check in and have a bit of a laugh for half an hour or so, and no doubt have a look at 12Z as well, as long as the lights stay on. If the lights go off at GavsWeatherVids towers, then obviously I won't be able to live stream. Let's hope they don't go off in the middle of the live stream. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Or maybe not. But we'll see what happens anyway after 10 o'clock. Over the weekend, we've got loads coming up. Lots and lots of the winter coming up this weekend. So tomorrow, we're going to have a weekend forecast. I have 10 to 14 day update as well. And then 7 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, we will premiere the first Season 1 Roundup for winter of 2020. It's going to be a premiere on the channel at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So if you're around the channel, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, I'll see you then for the premiere. And we'll go through all the long-range models for the first time this season for winter 2020-21. Then on Sunday, we're going to have the 4th winter 2020-21 update part 1. 10 a.m. on Sunday, and there'll be a live stream at 6 o'clock where no doubt we'll discuss that winter update, and we'll do some long range models as well, probably CFS for the winter with that one. And by the way, part 2 of the 4th winter update will be released at 6 o'clock in the evening on Monday, new time for part 2 of winter update, 6 o'clock in the evening on Monday. Right then, so I managed to get that done. Let's hope as the video is processing we don't lose the power again, and all being well, you're going to see this in around half an hour's time or something when it's finished processing. Right, that's all for now though. Thanks for watching.